At the conclusion of a construction project, the handover process signifies a critical transfer of responsibility from the construction team to the owner. This phase involves the delivery of numerous documents, including drawings, operational manuals, the as-built building information model. These deliverables are intended to be a definitive record of the completed asset. However, a persistent and costly problem plagues the industry. The information handed over is frequently inaccurate. It does not faithfully represent the physical reality of what was constructed. Owners receive files that look complete on screen, but those files often diverge from the actual building they now must operate and maintain. This discrepancy creates immediate and long-term financial burdens. When operations teams find a pipe is not where the model says it is, or that access to a critical valve is blocked by an unrecorded steel beam, routine maintenance becomes a complex, expensive investigation. The cost to survey, document, and correct these errors after the project team has left is far higher than fixing them during construction. Post-handover fixes introduce unplanned downtime, disrupt facility operations, and generate cascades of change orders, all driven by a foundational lack of trust in the handover data. The risks go beyond money. They hit safety and operational integrity. Imagine an emergency shutdown needing immediate access to an isolation valve. If the as-built drawings show that valve in the wrong place, response times are dangerously delayed. Projects are dynamic environments. Field adjustments are a constant. The traditional method relies on manual redline markups on paper drawings. This process is notoriously prone to human error. Responsibility for updating the model is fragmented. Consolidation becomes a patchwork of assumptions rather than fact. Schedules compress at the end. The as-built model is declared complete on faith, not fact, creating a hidden liability the owner will inevitably discover. Solving this requires shifting from simply producing as-built documents to actively validating them against the physical reality before closeout. If the model was never validated against reality, the as-built becomes a guess. To address the problem of inaccurate handover data, it is essential to understand the fundamental difference between an as-built model and a digital twin. An as-built model, in its traditional sense, is a retrospective documentation product. It is a static record created at the end of the project, meaning the as-built often reflects what should have been built, not what was actually built. A digital twin, by contrast, is a dynamic, validated, and living representation of a physical asset. A true digital twin begins with a geometrically and positionally accurate model verified against real-world conditions. The model's components are confirmed to exist in the locations and configurations shown: large equipment, individual valves, sensors. It integrates the verified three-dimensional model with asset data and often connects to live data streams. The as-built is a history book. The digital twin is a live dashboard. In short, the statement as-built does not equal verified reality captures the essence of the problem. For owners, the goal should be to demand a trusted, accurate digital foundation that can evolve into a digital twin. Section 4. The Handover Validation Checklist. 5 checks to catch costly errors. To bridge the gap between the as-built model and the installed reality, project teams can implement a straightforward validation process before handover. This process can be distilled into a practical 5-point checklist performed with modern reality capture tools. Geometry validation confirms the physical form matches the model. Purpose, size, shape, and dimensions are correct. Use a point cloud to measure a large unit, for example, an air handling unit, and verify it matches the BIM model. Check major features, ceiling height and corridor width, to ensure there are no significant deviations from design. This step catches equipment substitution and incorrect installation. Location verification. Confirm precise X, Y, and Z coordinates. Does the installed pump match the model coordinate? Use the geo-referenced point cloud to verify and record any offsets, e.g. 300 mm west. Verify locations of major equipment, access panels, and key valves to prevent hours of searching later. Routing validation. Verify actual paths of pipes, ducts, and cable trays by overlaying the point cloud on BIM. Highlight reroutes and shifts, document deviations, and update the model to reflect the true installed path. This supports troubleshooting, future tie-ins, and avoiding accidental damage during renovations. Clearance verification. The model may show space, but reality can differ. Confirm access and service clearances. Verify a required 1-meter panel clearance is unobstructed. Section 5. The workflow for certainty. How to use reality capture. Capture site conditions with precision. The workflow begins on site with scanning. Terrestrial laser scanners capture tens of millions of points in minutes. Multiple scan positions build a comprehensive 3D picture of visible surfaces. For larger areas, mobile LiDAR on carts or backpacks accelerates acquisition. Photogrammetry creates 3D from photos, ideal for exteriors and texture detail. Process and register scans into a single geo-referenced point cloud. Each point has precise X, Y, and Z. Together, a metrically accurate digital replica. Import the cloud into BIM or review software and align with the as-built model. Run deviation analysis. Green means aligned, yellow-orange show drift, red highlights largest differences. Generate a clear annotated report with precise measurements, e.g., duct run 4 is 150 mm low, clashing with cable tray 7. Share objective evidence to correct the model or document accepted deviations, replacing arguments with facts and delivering a truly accurate as-built. Section 6. How validated data accelerates commissioning. With validated as-built data, commissioning becomes dramatically more efficient. Need air handling unit 3? Trust its verified location? Testing fire protection? Trace the actual installed routing in the validated model and go straight to testing. If a VAV box fails, use the model to pinpoint its location, identify connected ductwork, and trace control wiring to the correct panel. Validated data shortens schedules, reduces costs, and provides verifiable proof systems were tested in the installed state. Handover should transfer certainty, not questions. Do you validate as-built deliverables before handover? Have you discovered discrepancies after project completion? How does your team verify installed conditions? Share your experience in the comments and explore real workflows for as-built validation.